For more on tech's regulatory hurdles next year, let's bring in Mark Brnovich, Arizona Attorney General. Mr. AG, good to have you. You've been outspoken about Facebook in particular. Do you feel like various regulatory constituencies, especially Congress, are coming around to your point of view?
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, Washington, D.C. is a place where good ideas go to die, correct? And it's at a place where there's lots of smoke but not a lot of fire. So the fact that they're talking about this issue, I think it's important, and it shows you that these political professionals care about the issue. But I, quite frankly, don't have a lot of faith that they're actually going to get something done because everything is so dysfunctional in Washington, D.C. And that's why it's become incumbent on myself and my colleagues, a bipartisan coalition, to do something that Congress won't do or that the federal government appears either incapable or unwilling to do. And that's address a big tech.
I have to imagine that even you have to give Facebook and Zuckerberg some credit for their ability to manage this. You've got Zuckerberg with the president in the Oval Office. He goes to the Hill, and things seem to quiet down after that. Engagement clearly has not been a problem, nor has the stock. So where is the urgency going to come from?
Well, I think it's coming from the states because when we're dealing with the citizens of our states, whether it's issues concerning data breaches, whether it's information being manipulated, the fact that big tech companies, whether it's Google, Facebook, are collecting all this information, they're buying, they're selling it, they're trading it, often without our consent and permission, is something that really should worry every American. It's the dignity we each have in our own private information, and very often those privacy rights are being violated, and no one seems to care about it, except the state AGs at this point.
Although, you know, this whole industry has grown up in the absence of specific prohibitions against what these companies are doing. And I'm wondering what the states can do. Under what kind of authority or legal theory are you kind of going after these companies that have been engaged in these practices for some time without really federal guidance in terms of the law?
Let's remember the states created the federal government. The federal government didn't create the states. And so when it comes to issues like consumer protection, that's really the bread and butter of most state attorneys general's offices. So that's something we've dealt with. And secondly, I think it's important to put this in context. You know, companies like Google now are controlling about 90% of our search engines. And to put that in context, when the Standard Oil was broken up, it controlled about 87% of the market. When AT&T was broken up and led to all these innovations for consumers, they controlled just over 80% of the market. And so what we've seen is this concentration of wealth and power in a few companies. And what history has taught us is that when you have that much concentration and wealth and power in just a few companies, they have the ability to undermine democracy. And don't just take my word for it. People like Justice Brandeis were talking about this 100 years ago.